Schools will provide all students the opportunity to achieve their highest potential, to become educated, self-sufficient, and responsible citizens. We are committed to providing every student a diverse, quality education within a safe and secure environment through a dedicated, innovative, and highly qualified staff in partnership with parents and the community at large. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Mr. France?
Present.
Dr. Fuller?
Here.
Mr. Galentine?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Here.
Mr. Weaver?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Do we have a motion to approve the agenda for this evening's meeting? Is that Mr. Weaver? No, Mr. McMath. And a second? Second. Mr. Weaver. Any discussion, additions, deletions? Please call the roll.
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Mr. France?
Yes.
Dr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mr. Galentine? Motion carries.
We have a motion to approve the minutes from the March 21st meeting as well as the March 29th meeting.
So moved.
Mr. Weaver and Dr. Fuller. Any changes? Please call the roll.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Dr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mr. France?
Yes.
Mr. Galentine?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. 3 or 4 times a year we get to do this, and it's always a good meeting. So recognitions of our students who excel.
This is one of the best parts of the board meetings is having the opportunity to recognize our students and staff members. And I'm going to start tonight by recognizing Mr. Chris Rhodes, if you want to come forward. He is our speech and debate coach, and he was selected by the Eastern Ohio District Committee as the coach for the World Schools debate team. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Then I'm going to let you call the students up and recognize them for their awards as well.
All right. Well, we'll begin with our debate captain, Christopher Rhodes, if you come on up. Christopher is the first national qualifier in the history of New Philadelphia City Schools for World School Debate, and will be competing down at the tournament in Louisville, Kentucky. Congratulations. Our speech co-captain, Deirdre Fish. Deirdre will be participating in the supplemental competition down at the National Speech and Debate Tournament in Louisville, Kentucky. Congratulations.
Well done. Congratulations.
And our president of the speech and debate team, Catherine Williams, is the second in the history of New Philadelphia High School in all the years to qualify as an academic All-American in speech and debate. So congratulations, Catherine.
Congratulations. Well done.
All right, next I would like to call our athletic director, Mr. Tim Fortney, up. He also is being awarded tonight from the Eastern Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association State Award of Merit. That's a mouthful.
Yes, it is.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much.
Mr. Fortney, if you want to call up our athletes.
Sure. I'm going to go through some of our various athletes from the winter sports, and not all of them were able to be here this evening, but I am going to recognize anybody that we had as far as sports and or coaches, okay? So the first one I'm going to recognize is Carter Van. So Carter was, I'll go ahead, sorry. I'm going to read that. Carter was special mention Division II All-Ohio, first team ECOL, first team East District, and first team District 5. Great job. The second member we had, also from the boys basketball team, was Michael Vickers. Michael Vickers was honored with first team ECOL. Also wanted to recognize at this time Coach Ball, who in this past season was also recognized by our District 5 Boys Basketball Hall of Fame. So we'll put that over there. Congratulations. Now, I have some girls here. I'm not sure if they were able to make it tonight, but I'm going to call their names anyway. We had Ajaya Schreffler for girls basketball. I don't think she was able to make it tonight, but she was second team Division I All-Ohio, first team East District Player of the Year, first team District 5 Player of the Year, first team ECOL Player of the Year, academic All-Ohio, and she signed a letter of intent to play at Ursuline College. So, yeah, a big round of applause. We also had, on the girls basketball team, we had Audrey Haar, who was third team Division I All-Ohio, first team East District, first team District 5, first team ECOL, and academic All-Ohio. So congratulations, Audrey. Next we had Alyssa Miller, girls basketball. She was special mention Division I All-Ohio, first team East District, District 5 All-Star Game MVP, and she signed her letter of intent to attend Baldwin Wallace. And we also wanted to recognize Coach Kevin Cornell for girls basketball, who was also recognized as Division 5 girls basketball coach of the year. Next we have Mr. Charlie Gibbs. And Mr. Charlie Gibbs, I want to recognize him for wrestling. He had 100 wins this year. He was the Division I state qualifier and was a Division I state placer. He got 7th place. So congratulations to Charlie Gibbs. Okay. And next we have in boys bowling. In boys bowling, we had first team Stark County All Conference was Zach Schubach. See here, see you? Zach, no? Okay. From. Next we have, yep. Next we have for boys bowling, we have Alex Nicely, who was recognized for first team Stark County All Conference as well. And then we also have our coach here this evening, who for Mr. Locker. So, Coach Jeff Locker, come on up. Coach Locker was recognized for the Stark County Conference Coach of the Year. New Philadelphia Boys was 12-0 the conference champions. And I just have a little side note. Go ahead, Coach. You can stand there. I just have a little side. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. These guys for bowling. I will tell you this. It was my first opportunity to experience bowling this year, and I will tell you that it was one of the most gratifying athletic experiences I've ever had, simply because the kids bowled. They were very sportsmanlike with each other. No arguing. There was no parents yelling at anybody. They just bowled. They knocked down the pins, and when it was over, they shook hands, and everybody had some pizza and pop, and everybody went home. So it was kind of one of the more favorable experiences. So Jeff does a great job with our bowling team, and we should have quite a good crew coming back in next year. Our final one that we want to recognize tonight is for boys swimming, Drew Hosteller, who's here this evening. Come on up. Congratulations. Drew was Division I district placer in the 50-meter freestyle, and he also, not 50 mile, 50 meter. Sorry. And he signed his letter of intent that he's going to be doing academics and swimming at Iowa College, correct? Yep. All right, congratulations. He also did a great job in the school play. I'll give him that too. So, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. I'll make sure I get those.
You want to stay up here? Mr. Weaver, you want to come on up as well? Now I'd like to call Mr. Reno Contapelli from the Ohio School Boards Association, who has some service awards to present.
I appreciate you having me here in New Philadelphia. I'm Reno Contapelli from the Ohio School Boards Association. We proudly represent and help all the public schools in Columbus and New Philadelphia are members. Each year at our spring conference we get the award and recognize those schools and board members who go on to certain milestones. Last year we were able to give a Blue Ribbon Award, a nice little plaque to one of the New Philadelphia schools. This year we have board members. When you hit 15 years of service, we like to say congratulations on 15 years of service. Time away from your family, the hard work that you put in. We give a little wall certificate, so Mr. France, congratulations on 15 years of service. And
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And Mr. Weaver, congratulations on 15 years of service.
Thank you.
Give the family a round of applause, too. We it takes to be board member. All the board members can thank you for your service, all of them through Student Achievement Fair, legislative liaisons, and all the meetings and committees that you're on. Just our way of coming up from Columbus and saying thank you.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Okay.
All righty. On with the show.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you. Do we have any public participation this evening?
No, we don't.
Okay. Since no one has signed up for public participation, we will move on to the treasurer's report.
The first thing on the on my portion of the report is the millage discussion for the upcoming PI levy. I put in your board folder the effect it would have on the district and the effect it would have on each taxpayer. So what I'd like to request from the board is that we have a work session so that we can sit down and determine if that's the route you want to go to look at the levy coming up, if we want to renew or if we want to replace. Next on my agenda is just my regular report items. I have the financial report, the key indicator, the cash flow, the check register, QDA and QPA financial statements, and the bank reconciliation. All balances are in balance. Please pay particular attention to QDA and QPA financial reports as the sponsor. I have the University of Akron affiliation agreement for you to approve, the student accident insurance through Guaranteed Trust Life Insurance Company. And just for your knowledge, that life insurance is for students to purchase, but the board has to approve it. It's no cost to the district. I have a donation of benches and a table from Dick's Sporting Goods at a value of $4,741.26. I'm asking that you approve the MasterCard limit and point value. I have FMLA paperwork for Harry Andrag beginning February 28th. And I have various amended estimated resources and amended appropriations. And with that, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve my report.
So moved.
And a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Galantine. Can you give us a quick, since we're here in an open meeting, rundown on the millage discussion, just an overview
Sure.
of what we're going to be discussing there?
Sure. So if we renew it, we would be collecting about $469,000 with no change to the taxpayers.
469, is that what you said?
$469,000.
Okay.
If we replace, we would collect around, my calculations are $526,000. And based on our assessments, if you just calculate 1 mil, it's 530. So somewhere in that range to replace it at a cost of $4 per $100,000 home per year.
And that's what we need to discuss, is which one of those two options we want to entertain, right?
Yes.
We've got to do one or the other, correct?
Yes.
And where it's at now, am I correct in my recollection that the community was gracious enough to roll the note that was paying off the rebuild from the fire into
No,
PI
that bond
money?
is paid off.
But would they?
Oh, yes. So, you're correct. When the bond for the fire was complete and we didn't need that done any longer, then the PI, we went out and requested that people pass that PI and replace it, and that's how we got to the $469,000.
We were somehow getting by on like
Yes.
$110,000 a year
Yes.
to fix everything.
Yes,
Which
You're
tremendous
correct.
burden on the general fund
yes.
and gives us a little bit more help in new curriculum pertinent to the
Yes.
next meetings and things like that when we've got an extra little bit of money that they,
Well, you can't buy curriculum with it, but you can buy physical assets.
I'm talking about when we were sucking money out of the
Oh,
general
yes.
fund.
Yes.
Before that went on with the bond debt for
By-
the rebuild of the high school, that instead of fixing boilers, we're able to buy books.
Yes, by relieving the expenditures off
Yes.
of the general fund, it allows us to expand our curriculum, expand our one-to-one initiatives, all of those things.
Gotcha. Okay, good. And this credit card thing just drives me crazy.
The auditor of state has requested it.
Okay,
and
that's fine.
There is basically,
I don't mind approving it. I don't understand why we can't get a credit card that gives us cash back that we can apply to the balance. But you're telling me we have to get a credit card that lets us buy one of those big touchscreen televisions over there.
yeah.
That just seems so ridiculous to me. So there's no way we can get a cash back
I
card.
can look at them. We're gonna be looking at our banks anyways, and maybe Huntington has a product that would be approved for governments that we could look at.
I mean, you understand where I'm coming from, right?
Yeah,
It seems like it would be a lot cleaner just to get something to pay towards the debt.
yeah. They don't like cashback items. Auditor of state does not
So
like
they'd rather you buy a
cashback
barbecue grill.
Well, I can just tell you, the auditor of state doesn't like cash back.
Okay. That just doesn't make any sense to me, I'm sorry. I understand you have to do it, but that seems like an awful lot of extra work to try to find something maybe we don't really need when we could. How much money do we spend a year on those credit cards?
Oh, you would be shocked.
I don't think so.
We probably spend a year. I'm gonna say, we hit about $30,000 a month.
Okay.
Rough ups
So
and
we're
downs.
pushing 5 figures of cash back at 1%.
Yeah.
I mean,
You can't get cash back on credit cards when you're a government.
well, somebody needs to come up with that. Let's put Mr. Fortney on that. Okay, I'm done with my soapbox for this part of the meeting.
And the reason it's on the agenda is because you've got to share that update. Nothing's changing other than it's just the status of what the current dollars and point value is.
The dollar value, I don't increase because I have to do a personal signature against it, which was my argument to the auditor of state. If I'm personally signing as an individual, why would I have to have board approval? However, the auditor of state's saying that the board has to approve the limits and the point values each month.
Do we get to approve whatever you decide to buy with the points?
Well, I could. If you would like that to come back to you, that will come back to you.
Do we have to?
No,
Okay, we don't have to approve it, okay.
no, but when you see those points drop, just ask me what we got.
Check what's on your back porch.
Please don't say
The audio's not working. Okay. Any more questions for the treasurer's report? And so go ahead, call the roll.
Dr. Fuller? Mr. Galantine? Mr. France?
Yes.
Mr. McMath? Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, personnel.
All right, we have a long section on personnel tonight. I draw your attention to a few things. First of all, under administrative, we are going to hire Jennifer Price as a payroll clerk. She will be in Julie's office. She's going to start on May 2nd. She comes to us with quite a bit of experience, and I think is going to be a good addition to fill that open role. Also, Melissa Cantu, we had previously hired as a guidance secretary. She is actually now going to be the Welty Middle School secretary, effective next Monday. And Cindy Glazier is going to move over to the guidance position. So some secretarial changes there. Also notice we're hiring Justin Walker as a new maintenance person. He will be replacing the position that Josh Marshall had. Josh will be leaving us after next week. We have a bunch of classified contracts. It's my understanding that the district has previously never issued contracts for classified personnel. That's why there are so many of them on the board agenda this month. But after this, we will be caught up and we will be issuing them in proper sequence. In addition, we've got some substitutes and supplementals. Notice we are hiring 2 teachers for next school year. Very excited to be starting the hiring process in April, especially for positions that are hard to fill. So we've got 2 new intervention specialists that we are going to be hiring for next fall. And then we have a list of supplemental positions that we are also hiring for next school year. Notice the first one on the list is Michael Zachross, who will be our new head basketball coach. At least that's my recommendation. He comes to us from Jonathan Alder High School. And just had a stellar interview. It was a very competitive process. 22 candidates applied for that position. There were 2 different interview committees that the candidates went through, and at the end of the day, he was the unanimous choice for the basketball coach. On the next page, we have field experience student teacher we are approving for next school year, some additional volunteers, and we continue to add substitute teachers, custodians, and a bus driver to our list. So we are thankful for all of those people who have decided they would like to join us and help us out when we have openings. So, that if I could have a motion to approve this very long list of personnel.
So moved.
Mr. Weaver. And a second?
Second.
Dr. Fuller. Questions for Superintendent Wentworth?
Just a quick one on Jennifer Price. You mentioned experience. Is that public entity? Is that private experience?
She has a total of 15 years payroll experience, and she has been doing public entity experience at the Village of Tuscarawas. She's ran payroll there since I believe 2004, 5. She works for currently Troyer and Associates and does 61 payrolls right now. She will have a learning curve because our payroll is a little more technical. But I think she's going to do a good job.
That's that experience. Great. Okay. Thank you.
Excellent. How long is a classified continuing contract?
The Ohio Revised Code calls for the first year of service is a 1 year, then you get a 2 year, a 2 year, a 2 year, and then continuing.
So a continuing does not have a limit.
Once you hit continuing, it's forever.
Okay, gotcha. Very good. And how did we miss that?
I can't speak to that.
Is it new? Is it,
No,
okay.
I did it in my prior district. I came, they weren't being done, and actually just got past me. I didn't even recognize we weren't doing
But
it.
we'll be up to speed now.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Any more questions? Please call the roll.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Dr. Fuller?
Yeah.
Mr. France?
Yes.
Mr. Galentine? Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Committee reports.
Just want to draw your attention to the link for the Business Advisory Council. They have not met since our last meeting, but we work with them through the ESC, and those minutes are always available online. So, you want to speak to facilities?
I think the biggest thing out of that meeting, facilities, was that they're still waiting on electrical components to complete the HVAC for the phase 3, which is mostly the gymnasium and band, choir, some of the industrial arts type project lead the way areas. All of the big heavy stuff is done to where that I think Mr. Fortney believes he can shut the gym down effectively and put things on the roof. It just may not be hooked up when school starts,
Right.
is what we've been told. Hopefully it will, but at least I guess it's lightweight electrical components that can be installed when students are occupying the building, which is a the biggest hurdle for us is to make sure that we can be getting in and out of there for our kids. Think anything outside of that, Todd?
I don't think so. I mean, I think finishing up some of the SR2, right? Projects.
ESER 2 and 3.
Yep. Get those good, moving through, I think it's good. I know I've been impressed with Mr. Haney. I think he's doing a really good job of working projects through. And one thing that I really liked from our meeting is seemed to be very thorough at checking with building administrators and kind of seeing what they wanted. So I really appreciated that very much. But yeah, I would think good.
And the track replacement should be starting in June sometime?
Should start the first Monday in June. Well, the Monday after the first Saturday in June. I'll get that right. The first Saturday in June is the scheduled state track meet, and we don't want to shut it down because we believe we've got athletes who will probably be at state. So we're going to wait until they are done with their season before we shut the track down. I've already coordinated that with the city. They're aware and planning for the track to be shut down over the summer. So they've made that announcement as well.
And it's necessary, especially after the new surface is down, that we do a very thorough job of restricting access to the track. We can't have people walking on it.
That's correct.
Anything-
The curing time is rather significant. And if we get on it too quickly, we're going to...
So there's basically going to be some very obvious barricades to access to the
Yeah.
track to keep people off of it for
Yes.
the curing time. Having said that, we're also partnering up with the city for what, 2 other projects, things that needed done, tennis courts, and what was the
What's
other
the
one?
other one?
Crider Avenue?
Crater Avenue.
We're always required to do that. Wasn't there something else? Tennis courts for
So
sure.
we continue to chip in on those things that we use with the city.
Did see Mayor Day put out, 3 different options around the city for people to walk and use. I believe I know it's on their Facebook page. So to give citizens an opportunity, community members, to walk when the track's closed, which I thought that was really cool that he did that.
Be a good opportunity for us to get acclimated to that Southside Park. That's a really nice resource that maybe folks aren't taking advantage of to the extent they could. Anyway, any other committee reports?
A couple things from Quaker Foundation. So recognition banquet will be Friday, May the 6th. Reception will start at 6:30. Seating by 7:15, and the event starts at 7:30. Any of you are sure encouraged and welcome to attend for sure. If you just want to let me know if you're going to be able to attend and how many would be attending, then the way I can give the foundation a head count, and then also be aware that it typically would recognize administrators, board members who are in attendance, so that way if you are going to be there, I want to make sure I can share that so that when they read, who's in attendance, you don't have to do anything other than have your name called, but I want to make sure I get that right for whoever's able to make it. So if you could by either tonight or by the end of next week, let me know, and then I'll make sure we got that all communicated to the foundation. Should be a really nice evening. There'll be teacher awards, there's alumni recognition in a variety of different ways of contribution. The scholarships will be record-setting again, which is wonderful. There's going to be 83 students, 131 scholarships. So obviously there will be students that get multiple scholarships. Good, thorough, objective process to go through as far as awarding the students with scholarships. But it's, it's wonderful really to have that much generosity and that much, to share with students from a scholarship standpoint. The dollar amount will be over $250,000 worth of scholarships. So I think the first one, there was maybe one scholarship for $2,000, something like that. So obviously it has grown to be something that's significant. It's widely supported within our community, and we've got a lot of generous folks that really value education and trying to help our our teachers through classroom grants, our students through scholarships, ways to try and further and improve education, with that being kind of a cornerstone of a good community. So wanted to share that info with you. Also, there are some scholarships where folks have donated money to the school district, where they've then gone to the school district who they've kind of bequeathed, though not sure the right word, they've given, the money to the district to say, hey, we want this to go in scholarships. Instead of the school board running our own process, we work with the foundation to have them go through their evaluation process and then award the scholarships on behalf of the school district and the school board. So I will share those scholarship winners with you is via email, so you're aware. And then if you could just, that's nothing that gets communicated out publicly until the night of the banquet, where the different the students all know they're getting scholarships, so they wouldn't be invited to the banquet, but they don't know which scholarships they're receiving. So as a courtesy, that's communicated back to us in advance, but something we want to keep confidential until the night of the banquet. So it's good stuff. So it's a good time of year, and that's kind of the big event for the foundation, and should be a nice evening, and the first time in a few years to actually do it with a big crowd there, so in an unmodified kind of way. And taking some steps too to make it easier for parents and donors and different folks to be able to attend, so we should have a really nice size crowd there as well, so it should be a nice night.
Chris, did you say 83 students?
83 students, correct. Okay. Yeah.
Anything else? Would you like to report on the curriculum?
Yes, first of all, I apologize. Mr. Williams would have liked to have been here. He had a medical procedure today, and he's going to be out for a few days. So he asked that I give his report. He is disappointed that he is not here, because this is the culmination of the work that he and the math committee have been doing all year long. He did provide each of you with a folder of information regarding the curriculum that's been selected by the math committee. It's actually 2 different curriculums. They've selected Reveal curriculum, which is a McGraw-Hill product. That will be for students in grades K through 3. And then Envision Math, which will be for students in grades 4 through 12. As you look through the items, you might notice on the staple page, kind of the overview page, he lists all of the different curriculum team members that were part of this process. It was significant. There was representation for each grade band. They spent time using the curriculum in their classrooms, diving into it, making sure that it was aligned to Ohio standards, and then really trying to hone in on what they feel would be the best for our students. So they did a lot of volunteer work to come to this point, so I want to acknowledge all of those teachers who did all of that work. Also let you know the curriculum will be available here in the front gymnasium next week between 9 and 3 for anybody who, from the community, or anybody who would like to come and look at it more closely. It is going to be available. So with that, I would like to make a recommendation that this is the first reading for adoption, and then it will come back around again next month for the final adoption. If I could have a motion.
Second.
Questions? Please go.
How will this be communicated out to parents as far as the availability of the curriculum to be able to be seen?
It will be on the website for sure. I believe that there's also going to be either a phone call or an email, but it will be on the website. It might be on there already. I did not check today.
So you mean like an all call, like calling? Okay, that's great.
And it'll be made available next week, you said?
Next week, yes. And if
Certainly
those,
beyond that, if that doesn't fit somebody's schedule.
if somebody wants to see it beyond that time frame, we just need to let Mr. Williams know, and we'll make it available as well.
Good work.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else on the mathematics curriculum? Please call the roll.
Mr. McMath? Yes. Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Mr. France?
Yes.
Dr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mr. Galantine? Motion carries.
Superintendent's report.
All right, we have several policies that we are going through the second reading and final adoption of. We went over them last month for the first time. I'm asking you to approve the MOU with Altman College for College of Nursing, that is, for CCP classes for the 2022-2023 school year. Approve the MOU with the TUSC BDD for the School Inclusion Fund grant of $25,000. They are making that available to all school districts in the county. Approve the updated New Philly City Schools Administrative Organizational Chart, which I provided for you in the board folder. Approve the non-routine field trip to the National Speech and Debate Tournament in Louisville, Kentucky on June 12th through 18th for the students and coaches we saw here tonight who qualified to that event. All those details are also located in your board folder. And then I also provided for you 3 different processes and quotes for outside facilitators regarding strategic planning. It's quite a lot of information. I'll be glad to answer some questions about it, but my suggestion is that we talk about this more thoroughly at the work session that we're going to plan. If I ask for a motion to put this on the floor.
Mr. Galantine.
Second.
Dr. Fuller. Okay.
Are there any questions for any of these items?
I guess more a comment that we should have recognized out of facilities maybe is that $25,000 grant is largely going to be used to improve handicap accessibility at Central Elementary, which will be good. There's a lot of steps in that particular building. There's some other stuff too, though, right? But that's the bulk of it, or going to be the bulk of it.
That and cameras.
No, that's not for the BDD.
Oh, I'm sorry, the bathroom things. Right?
Well, yeah. Accessibility first and then we see what's left.
Yes. Sorry, I couldn't remember what those things were called.
The strategic planning's been in the folder for a couple of days. Is there any specific questions? I think it's a good idea to talk about that at the work session, but is there anything that stuck out to you guys for immediate? Okay.
No, they all sure look like viable options. Just worth talking about what are we really trying to accomplish and who best aligns with what we want to get done. I was pretty impressed with, obviously, all 3 of them come with some experience and
They do.
expertise.
It was really interesting discussions, talking to all 3 organizations. They clearly have a process. The processes are very different. So it's a matter of deciding which of the processes do we believe is going to be a best fit for us. So,
Okay. Anything else?
You know, one thing I will say, Mr. Rhodes and the debate team had left, but what he specifically and his wife had done to help build that from nothing. I think you remember, some of us remember when that started, to have folks that are now at the level that they're at going to the national debate is quite an achievement. And those, it's just having observed how some of those activities get done, those kids spend a lot of time preparing and they are learning some life skills there that are long lasting. It's pretty impressive. So that's.
it really is. That program's only a couple years old. So, yeah.
That's cool.
Anything else? Please call the roll.
Mr. Galantine? Yes. Dr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mr. France?
Yes.
Mr. McMath?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Do I have a motion to adjourn into executive session to consider the employment, dismissal, discipline, compensation of a public employee and/or the investigations of charges or complaints against a public employee with no action to follow? Is that Mr. McMath? And a second?
Second.
Mr. Weaver? Call the roll, please.
Mr. McMath? Yes. Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Mr. France?
Yes.
Dr. Fuller?
Yes.
Mr. Galantine? Motion carries.
Okay. Thank you for coming this evening. Appreciate it. Unless you have anything for us, Joe? No? You're good? Are you sure? Thanks for coming. Good night.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Yes. Good to see you, Joe. See ya.